Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to my channel Scour Your Knowledge. In our previous lectures we have studied in detail the demand function, the demand curves, the relationship of the demand with the price and other non-price factors. Today we would see some of the aspects of the supply side. Obviously we would start with the supply function. So, as we have already studied in the demand function, that it was a functional relationship between quantity demanded and the price of the product that the consumers wanted. So, the supply function is again the functional relationship between the price of the product and the quantity supplied by the suppliers who are willing and able to supply that particular product in a given time period when all the other factors are held constant. Now again, what do we mean by the functional relationship? Again, as we have already understood, the functional relationship concept means that whenever there would occur a price change in of the product, there would always be a quantity supply change as well. So it's not about a single or the current price and the single or the current quantity supplied by the supplier. It would always be moving along the curve whenever we would talk about the price and the quantity supplied of the product. When we say that all the other factors are held constant, it means that there are also the non-price factors that occur or that happen to occur when we stand out a relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. But we have to held those factors constant in order to determine the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied by the suppliers. So when we say that there is a functional relationship between the price and the quantity supplied of the product, so what about the other factors that we have held constant in order to determine that functional relationship? Those non-price factors are always very important we whenever we study anything in existence or anything in real time. Now these real-time factors always determine the kind of the supply or the amount of the supply that would be available in the market. So the very important aspects we would discuss over here. Non-price factors involve the very first non-price factor could be the state of technology or the technological advancements that occur in the process of production through which the input of production is being combined. So whatever the technology that is being used by the supplier in their production process always determines the kind of or the efficient production or the kind of or the quality of the production or a product. So it always gives a boost to the production process, and it improves the process, it efficates the process, and it makes the supplier enable to produce more of the product. So he would be able to produce more of the product in case of the advanced technology or in case of the improved technology. So technology would always put a positive impact on the quantity or the quantity supplied or the quantity produced by the producer. The other thing is the input prices. All the inputs, whether that is the factors of production, whether that is the raw material, whether that is the capital, that is the investment, or the labor, or the land, all the factors, all the inputs, if the prices of those inputs raise, obviously it is going to increase the cost of production, and eventually the price of the supply or the product would increase, and it would affect on the quantity that the producer would be able to supply to the consumer. Suppose if you talk about the price of the fertilizers and the pesticides or the insecticides, if the prices of the fertilizers and pesticides and or insecticides raise, so obviously it would affect the vegetable uh, commodity, and it would increase the prices of the vegetables due to uh, due to the factor that the prices of the input that was involved in the production process was being raised. So obviously the prices, whenever there will be higher prices, so the supply side of the product would always be affected. In inversely, it would be an inverse effect on the supply side, which means that higher the input prices, higher the prices of the factors of production, the supply side would always be affected in an inverse manner. The other factor is the prices of the goods that are related in production. It also involves two kind of goods. One could be the substitute goods and one are the complementary goods. So whenever there is the input involved, and the input can be utilized to produce either of the goods, either one or the second good. So the goods that are being produced are said to be the substitute goods. Let's suppose if we use the land as an input of production for two different kind uh, of vegetables, let's suppose. So the farmers or the producers would always go for the kind of vegetable or the crop that would yield more of the profits in as compared to the crop that would yield less of the profits. Let's suppose if the same land is being used to produce the tobacco as well as to the corn. So the yield of the tobacco, let's suppose if the yield of the tobacco is more than the yield of the corn, so farmer would always go for the production of the tobacco instead of the production of the corn. There can also be a complementary production relationship between the commodities. Let's suppose if you talk about the natural gas and the oil. So whenever with the production of the oil and the natural gas is being increased, it would produce the byproduct like sulfur. So it would increase the supply of the sulfur as well. So in this case, the natural gas and the sulfur are, or the oil and the sulfur are the complementary goods which complement each other. When the production of the one commodity or one good is increased, the supply of the other good is also increased in the market. The future expectations would also put a great impact on the supply side of the product. Let's suppose if the supplier anticipates or expects the future prices to increase, so in order to get more profitability, they would withhold the product and they would supply less product. In the current supply would be less in the market. And in another case, if they feel that the prices would fall in the future, they would supply more of the product today, and they would withhold less of the product, like there would be a surplus of the product in the market. So these kind of expectations sometimes drive the prices as well, as they happen to act as self-fulfilling prophecies. um, let's suppose if they supply more of the product in the market, so there would be a surplus, so the prices would fall. And if they supply less of the product in the market, so the demand would rise, there would be shortage of the product and the prices would eventually rise. So these kind of expectations of the suppliers always drive the prices, and they affect the prices as well. The other factor, the last factor that we will discuss today, is the number of producers in the market. So the number of so the more number of producers that come up in the market due to any of the reason, let's suppose if they find the market more feasible to enter in, or if they find more opportunities in the market, and they start entering into the market. So there would be a rise in the competition, and when there is a rise in the competition, the prices of the commodities or the goods start decreasing. So whenever there will be number of producers in the market, there will be less monopoly with the current individuals that are playing, that are the players of the market. So they would enjoy less of the bounties whenever more producers would enter the same market. So if we want to write a supply function as we have written it in a demand function, so we would say that quantity supplied of the good X is the function of the price of good X and all the other factors, non-price factors that are involved in the uh, supply process. These non-supply factors could involve the state of technology, the prices of the inputs of production, the prices of goods A and B which are related in production, and the producer expectations about future prices and number of producers. Here, P of X represents the price of good X, uh, T of X represents the state of technology, PI represents the prices of the inputs of production, PA represents and PB, both of them represents the prices of the goods A and B which are related in production to good X. EXP represents the producer expectations about the future prices, and NP represents the number of producers. And this ellipsis sign shows that there could be many other factors involved that are not mentioned over here. So everyone, this is all for today. This is how you derive the supply function of of any kind of a product or a commodity. I hope you have got a little bit of knowledge regarding the supply function and the factors that are involved in, or that are related to the supply function. Stay tuned with us for further videos as well, and we would keep on discussing the topics at their advanced levels as well. These are basically the basic things about the different aspects of the economics. I hope you've liked our video, and if you like our video, please do let us know in the comments right below, and do subscribe to my channel. Please support my channel. I need a lot of support from you guys, and I hope to see you tuned in our next video as well. Thank you so much.